Boulder's top stories this week. The community provides feedback on a proposal to create housing for the chronically homeless in North Boulder. New compost bins make it easy to be environmentally responsible on Pearl Street. And the city invites the public to participate and stay informed as Boulder plans for its energy future. Hi, I'm Mike Benuelos. A public hearing on a controversial proposal to build 31 apartments in North Boulder for previously homeless individuals drew 80 speakers on Tuesday night and emotional testimony from a variety of perspectives. The 2.5-hour hearing centered on Boulder Housing Partners' plan to use land it owns on Lee Hill and Broadway to create a housing-first community. Some area residents have expressed concerns about the proposed location, clustering of homeless services, and affordable housing in their neighborhood and what they see as an unfair public process.
North Boulder community is at a tipping point. 3 of the city's plans have clearly been violated with what BHP has built in North Boulder, which 1175 Lee Hill violates even further. First, the Boulder Valley Comprehensive Plan, Article 704, states for populations with special needs, housing locations should be in proximity to housing or shopping, medical services, entertainment, and public transportation, and every effort will be made to avoid concentration of these homes in one area. No effort has been made to avoid concentration. In fact, every effort has been made to concentrate. All public amenities require significant bus ride. Second, the North Boulder Subcommunity Plan in Chapter 11 has future growth objectives to create neighborhood districts with varying character and densities, and to retain 5% of North Boulder's total housing as permanently affordable. What happened to this wonderful plan, to the Village Center, the library, the Civic Center on the Mann property, the Village Green on both sides of 4 Mile Canyon Creek off Broadway? What happened to the US 36 Broadway gateway into Boulder? All these dreams have been overrun by free-for-all facility siting in North Boulder.
Other speakers, however, said the housing would address a serious inequity in our community and that the Lee Hill site is appropriate.
I would like to urge all of us to consider a second language of community that's about helping people, that's about social justice, that's about considering having this model, this housing first model, which has been proven to work in other areas, and giving this model a chance in Boulder. I think this is a critical social justice issue for our city, and I support the Lee Hill project. I think part of what social justice requires is it needs to be not just a concept, but it has to be living. It has to be in a place. And the place selected by Boulder Housing Partners was an empty lot. And if this project goes through, it will be a thriving community with support and a model that works.
City Council has limited authority to block the proposed development. According to City Attorney Tom Carr, Boulder Code calls for transitional housing site review to occur at the staff level, and there is little room without changing the law for discretion. Council will also need to consider anti-discrimination guidelines that prevent exclusion or unfair treatment of people with disabilities. Nonetheless, many participants said they believe the public hearing was an important step. Council plans to weigh in with its thoughts and possible recommendations at its meeting on April 3rd. Being environmentally responsible on Pearl Street Mall just got a little bit easier. Pedestrians can now compost items like coffee cups and banana peels instead of throwing them away on the mall. The City of Boulder's Local Environmental Action Division worked with the Parks and Recreation Department to launch a new pilot program which installed compost bins at 3 waste stations along the heavily used pedestrian mall. The new bins are marked with the words Compost in big white letters, so they're easy to find at their locations on Pearl and 10th, 13th Street, and between Broadway and 11th Street. Inside Boulder News spoke to Jamie Harkins of the Local Environmental Action Division about how these new compost stations will help decrease waste and raise awareness about Boulder's goal to become a zero-waste community.
Previously, we had 3 collection stations on the mall, and they were configured for trash, paper, and bottles and cans. But since the city switched over to single-stream recycling, we didn't have a need for 2 separate recycling bins. So we decided to try and collect compostable materials with that 3rd bin. What will happen is the crews that already empty the containers on the mall will bring those over to our city facilities. We already have compost collection in all city offices. And so those materials will go in with our city materials and go out to Western Disposal's compost facility. What should go in these compost bins is we're really targeting compostable coffee cups. We did a lot of audits of the trash on the mall, and that was the #1 material that was literally in the trash cans. And so we were really trying to divert those. So if you're on the mall and you're having, coffee or have a takeout container that says compostable on it, it's really important that it says that. It should go in that container. Now, there's a lot of things on the mall that aren't compostable. So anything lined in plastic, such as a fountain soda cup or an ice cream container that you're eating from, that should still go in the trash. But anything that says compostable, any food scraps, any napkins, a paper-based product can go in there. The goal of the program is to really get more material out of the landfill. Boulder has a goal of 85% waste diversion by 2017, so we have a while to go yet. And we have a lot of businesses that have really been proactive about switching to compostable materials, downtown especially. And we really want to support them. We want to make sure there's places in the public for folks walking around to properly dispose of their items and to really support those businesses that have made that choice.
Parks and Recreation crews will monitor the new bins at least once a week to make sure the correct kinds of materials are being put in them. The city will monitor how the program works and how many waste items are put into the wrong bins before deciding whether to make the program permanent. The City of Boulder has completed the first capital improvement bond project along Gillespie Drive in South Boulder. The project involved the construction of a missing sidewalk link on Gillespie Drive between Greenbrier Boulevard and Juilliard Street. This project is one of several new sidewalk connections termed missing links that will be constructed as part of the bond. By connecting these links, the city is able to fill the gaps in the sidewalk and multi-use path network and further promote safe, multimodal travel options. Capital improvement bond projects like this one were made possible by voters in the November 2011 election. Voters approved a measure that allowed the city to leverage existing revenues to bond for up to $49 million to fund projects to make high-priority infrastructure improvements. The city was able to leverage existing revenues, so the measures did not raise taxes. You can track the progress of the bond projects at the City of Boulder website. Just visit bouldercolorado.gov/bondprojects. As Boulder continues to explore different possibilities for its energy future, the public is encouraged to receive information and provide feedback on the process. The public's invited to attend the city's Environmental Advisory Board meetings, which are now taking place twice a month. In order to provide direction on the anticipated changes to the way the city approaches climate action, the board now meets on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month in City Council chambers. The Environmental Advisory Board has been asked to take an expanded role in order to help guide the discussion about what the future will look like for climate action work as part of the larger Energy Future project. Residents can also sign up for the Boulder's Energy Future Today newsletter at the Energy Future website. The first edition of this newsletter contains a letter from City Manager Jane Brodegum, updates on the city's municipalization analysis, and details about how Boulder residents and businesses can get involved and make an impact on the environment today. Lastly, members of the community can get additional information by meeting with city staff to discuss all things related to the Boulder Energy and Climate Future project at the next Walk-In Wednesday session. The April 4th event will take place at the West Senior Center. Staff members will be available to answer questions and collect feedback. The city is committed to involving the community in the ongoing research and analysis associated with the potential creation of a city-owned electric utility. And the public meetings and the Energy Future newsletter are just a few of several opportunities for the public to get involved with the project in 2012. That's all the time we have for this week. You can connect with Inside Boulder News on Facebook by submitting news tips and questions. Just search for City of Boulder Channel 8. I'm Mike Banuelos. Stick around for more Inside Boulder next.